Okay, so today we're going to go ahead and take care of the oil change. Now, you'll notice in your manual that a lot of times it'll tell you to do the filter every other oil change. I just prefer to go ahead and do it each time I change the oil. It's only a few extra bucks. It's good insurance. Let's just do it right. It won't be a problem. The access of that filter, I really do appreciate. The drain plug, it would have been a little awkward to have a drain plug right there because there's not really an access. There's not really a good spot for it to drain from. You know, the deck itself would just be a mess, but they put that little hose there. I haven't done this yet, so we're going to see how good this works today. But as you can see, here is the other end of that hose, and that's marked for oil. And I guess it's kind of an afterthought that they had the they had the mindset to make that super simple to drain the oil, but you're still going to get a mess from the filter. So I guess just be ready for that. So I totally spaced on the record button. I thought I had the record button pushed when I was taking a little cap out, a little twist off. That's this guy right here. But that's it. Make sure your O-ring's intact. It's going to start coming out, and it's a nice gold color, just like we want. But here's the thing. I prefer to do this while the oil is hot. The hotter the oil, the more efficiently it's going to flow out and also carry a lot of those particulates that you want to get rid of. So, kind of do it your own way, whatever you feel is best, because you might not want your hands getting burnt. But for the record, it wasn't near as hot as I thought it was going to be. So while that's draining, I'm going to go ahead and take this cap out, which is also basically the dipstick. Now this is a part where we're probably going to make some kind of mess. I got my trusty little Matco pliers here. Let's see if we can get this little Kawasaki filter twisted off. All right, good. It's on there. It's not too bad. I don't think I would have done it by hand. I thought about putting something down there to catch the oil, but I want y'all to see what I see for the first time and how this is designed and how it's made. So, so yeah, here she is from the underside. It's not too bad, I guess. We'll just probably need some paper towels or something, and I bet you there's a clever way to do this, but I figured I'd show exactly what it is we have, the way it was designed, the way it was built. I would imagine next time running some kind of cardboard out this way would probably take care of it, but that's not what we did. Now, for those of you who want to see the Kawasaki part number here, this is exactly what yours most likely is going to take. Look at your owner's manual, see what came on it from the factory. You can go with the Kawasaki filter, but you can also cross-reference and get more common brands. For example, this crosses over to a Wix 57035. My local part store is O'Reilly's. They were happy to kind of do the cross-reference for me. And some of you are probably big fans of Wix filters. Some of you might not care, but I do like Wix. They are owned by, I can't remember how to say the name, but it's another very big time company that also makes the filters for K&N and some other folks. So they're not the same Wix they were several years ago, but they're still a good company. Not much different than an automotive oil change. It's probably not a terribly critical thing, but not a bad idea to lube up the gasket. Also, when you pull the old filter off, such as this one, make sure the old gasket comes off with it, because if it sticks to the engine and you don't pay attention to it, you're going to get a nasty mess of oil when you start this motor up. I would prime this filter up a little bit by filling it about halfway up with oil, but since it's running in on the side, I'll probably just end up losing whatever oil I prime it with. So now it's just a matter of getting the oil filter on there, and be careful, take your time. You don't want to cross thread anything. If it doesn't feel nice and smooth, it's probably because it's cross threaded. So, see how easy that spins? You shouldn't have an issue with that. It doesn't have to be super tight, but since these machines are in all kinds of crazy conditions, you don't know what kind of rattling might take place, go ahead and snug it up real good. We'll put our little oil plug back in this hose. You can kind of see that. I don't know how good the lighting is there, but we got her together. She's tight. I'm going to wipe a little bit of dribble off her chin and call that part good. Okay, so let's check out the oil requirements. So if the filter is removed, then we're going to go with 2.2 quarts. But like I said earlier, you might be doing it every other interval, and so sometimes you're going to be 1.9 quarts. So just follow that for whatever you decide to do. And you have options on the kind of oil that you use. Honestly, it looks like they really kind of push 20W50 for a lot of your climates. Now that gets to be, good for over 104 degrees and down to 32. Most of us aren't cutting grass at 32 degrees and less, but some of us are if we're doing fall cleanup and that sort of thing. So I also look down here at this 10W40, which sometimes is not that easy to get a hold of. 10W30, I also share with my truck. So for what I'm probably going to do is just go with this 10W30 and run that. It's good for probably up to 100 degrees, which around here in Georgia, that could be a problem later on this summer, but I bet you I'll be changing it by then anyways. So for now, I'm going with 10W30, which works out great because I'm changing oil in my old Dodge and it takes that same oil. I'm just using a conventional, no need to get fancy. This is a lawnmower, guys, not a space shuttle. And we're going to use 2.2 quarts. And if you're pouring from a large jug, just know you're normally going to have some kind of sight glass to let you know how far you've come. So that puts us right at about almost an exact 2 quarts. And so we're just going to have to sort of guesstimate the 2.1 part. And so we're probably about that 2.1. So we're going to go ahead, cap it back off. Now, I can't check the oil level yet because what hasn't happened yet is the oil hasn't had a chance to circulate to the top end of the motor, and it hasn't had a chance to go through the oil filter. So we're going to let it run for a second. Yeah, we're going to fire up this big Kawasaki V-twin. Now for me, I'm normally going to have it with the throttle all the way maxed out. The choke on, we'll turn. Bam! Now if we did everything right, there shouldn't be anything leaking. we'll call it good here. So I need to show you something important. You'll find in the small engine community, when you're dealing with 4-cycle motors, you'll find, if you pay attention and you look at the specifications, there's a way to use this dipstick, and we're not going to screw it back in. What we're actually going to do is just push the dipstick in until it stops, and we're going to pull it back out. All right, no screwing in of the dipstick. We come back out with it and we take a look, and honestly I think we're just a hair over full. So watch this one more time, guys. We're just going to stick it in there. We're not going to twist it in, we're just pushing it in and we're pulling it back out. And I'm going to say that I think we're a little bit fuller than we should be. You'll have to check it a few times. That's a problem with having a bright colored dipstick and fresh amber oil. I'd have to say we're probably just actually right there to the F. So maybe we'll call that good. So if you can read what's on this dipstick, it says, do not twist the cap onto the threads when you're checking. So guys, I hope this was helpful. This is the first oil change I've done, so hopefully this helps somebody out there. And if you got any thoughts, any comments, throw them down there and follow, because I'm going to do more follow-up with this particular mower and let you know how it's done for me, for whatever that's worth. But God bless you, and a Leadsmith out.